him. I felt super depressed for 2 weeks. I kept waiting for Tom to come to his senses, but he never called. In the end, I calmed down a little, but I was left in a horrible mood at the end of summer. I still had a whole week before I had to go back to work, and to somehow distract myself, I decided to fly somewhere far away. I bought a tour to a small tropical island in the Caribbean, and I decided that there, far away from everyone else, I'd forget that traitor Tom. The very next day, I boarded a plane and went on vacation. The island was very far away, and it was incredibly difficult to get there. It didn't even have its own airfield, and tourists had to be brought there by seaplane. However, the hard road was worth it. The island was a real paradise. Clean white beaches, tropical nature, and a single hotel in the entire resort. The balcony in my room had a stunning view of the entire island. I felt that after a vacation like this, I was sure to return home completely refreshed. But no such luck. As soon as I checked into the room and went for a walk, I immediately met someone I hadn't expected to see. It was Tom. Moreover, there was a girl with him. What were they doing there? Tom noticed me as well. He immediately got angry, came up to me and asked, "Are you stalking me?" I was at a loss and could only reply that I'd flown there to rest before beginning my work at the company. Tom said, "Leave me alone. We've already broken up." He took his girlfriend's hand and they left. I just watched him go, and then it all began to sink in. Tom hadn't left me because of my curse. He'd left me because he'd found someone else. I mean, how dare he? What made it worse was that by some incredible chance, we ended up on the same small island in the middle of an ocean. And, of course, we'd have to spend a whole week there together. I wanted to fly back immediately, but the next plane was coming the following week. I knew I was in trouble. My whole vacation was ruined. And all you guys said that getting stuck somewhere wasn't gonna be a big deal. I decided to avoid Tom as much as possible. But the island was so small that it was kind of impossible. I had to watch every day as he hugged and kissed his girlfriend. It felt like he was doing it even more just to purposely annoy me. I mean, what a bastard. Tom decided to completely ruin my vacation, but I decided I wasn't gonna let him do that. I was gonna ruin his romantic vacation instead. I wasn't the one stuck on the island with him. He was the one who was stuck on the island with me. While my ex was lying around on the beach without a care in the world, I sneakily stole his sunscreen. In the evening, I was so happy to see a sunburn all over his face when we met in the hotel lobby. Other vacationers also smiled when they saw the unfortunate guy. Even his girlfriend looked uncomfortable being next to him. Of course, Tom knew I'd done it, but I wasn't done yet. I began to put my underwear with love notes into his room and smear lipstick all over his shirts. What for? It drove his girlfriend to hysterics, and I loved listening to them fight. She thought Tom was cheating on her. He, of course, knew perfectly well who was doing all of it, and was seething with rage whenever he saw me. On the third day, he came up to me and said angrily, "You want a war? You're gonna get one." He started to give me just as much trouble as I'd been giving him. The whole hotel was watching it all and probably thought we were real freaks. Honestly, who in their right mind would be so obsessed with ruining each other's vacations on such a tropical paradise? But this small piece of land was just too small for the both of us. And just like that, my week on the island was finally coming to an end. I couldn't wait to get out of there. On the last day, they threw a farewell party for everyone. Naturally, my ex-boyfriend came as well. He looked at me with a suspicious grin crossing his face. What was he up to? Found out the answer to that in the middle of the party, when the music suddenly stopped and a video appeared on the big screen. And, oh god, no, please, turn that off right now! It was the video from last year of my elevator fiasco. Everyone was looking at the screen and laughing. I felt myself blush from shame and anger. It was definitely Tom's doing, and I was just about ready to strangle him. Everyone started pointing at me and laughing. I just couldn't stand the shame any longer, and I ran to my room. Tom had won. I never wanted to see him again in my entire life. He only ever made me feel awful. I stayed in my room until it was time to board the plane so I wouldn't have to face that idiot again. When I was told that the plane was waiting at the pier, I picked up my bag and went to the elevator. There I got inside, and just as the doors had almost closed, somebody held them open. Oh no, not again! Tom got in the elevator. He saw me and visibly shuddered. It seemed he'd also been sitting in his room until the last moment to avoid running into me. But as soon as the elevator started down, the lights flickered and it stopped. You might say that, oh, it's impossible. But I told you, this is my curse. It always happens at the worst possible moment. I saw how scared Tom looked. He pressed all the buttons, but nothing was happening. We looked at each other and realized that we were going to be late for the plane. There was almost no time left. Tom looked around the elevator and noticed a hatch in the ceiling. He opened it and climbed out, and I followed him. We stood on the roof of the elevator and saw that there was really only one way to get out, by climbing back to back up the shaft. We hated each other, but there was nothing we could really do. We had to make it to that plane. So we pressed our backs together and started climbing. I couldn't believe that this was happening to me. I was counting the seconds until I could finally cut Tom out of my life forever. We got out of the elevator and ran to the pier. There was no one around. It was unsettling. And then I heard Tom scream, "No, it can't be! Wait!" I caught up to him and saw a plane far away in the sky. They'd left without us. Tom got a message from his girlfriend, and she told him that she was breaking up with him. We ran back to the hotel, but found only one worker there who said that the tour season was over and that everyone had already left the island. And also, rainy season was coming, and we'd be cut off from the world for several months. Yeah, I told you. My story is the perfect plot for a second-rate horror movie. I'm stuck on an island with the person I hate the most in the whole world. And I think Tom is now convinced that my curse is passed on to him. He was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. We don't know what to do next. Who do you think is to blame for this whole situation? Please, write your comments down below, because reading them is basically the only entertainment I'm gonna get in this cursed island.